Okay, and you see when you come into the gym team, we have a welcome team that at least welcome us to make us feel
Yeah, I can
welcome.
get you now.
Okay, go ahead.
Thank you, Dr. P. Good morning, good afternoon, good night, wherever you are joining us around the world. This is the Dream Team webinar. Here at the Dream Team webinar, we work as a family and we make sure that everyone is welcome in this webinar. We thank all those that have tuned in today, wherever you are around the world. Welcome, welcome, and take it away, Dr. P.
Thank you, welcome team, for welcoming us. And before we start our webinar, we always start with our signature tune, which is our logo, which is our DNA, in it to win it. But this song is not only special, it is because it is written and gifted to us by one of our own leaders on this platform, Sister Lerato Shadare from Germany. Then one of our King brother, Derek Clark, also do what? Make the non-verbal communication on what is currently happening on passive in that song. So this we don't just play it because we want to. It is very informative. So let's watch the images and see and follow up what is current in on passive. So Dr. Derek, I know you're born ready. Over to you, Dr. Derek.
Shining bright into the future, we rise high with one accord and revolution, lifting up humanity as we rise, standing tall, hand in hand. We are the unicorn, we are the stars. Shining down light, we're a nation, we are rising with one love, with one goal, bringing solution, lifting up humanity. Let's rise high, standing tall, hand in hand. We are the unicorn, we are the stars. Your next stop is Impasse. Stand clear of the closing doors, please.
Right. What is that? Our next stop is Unpassive, right? We are standing clear of the closing door because the train is leaving the station. I have to go back and watch this. There's a lot of information on this. In it to win it, Dr. Derek, or the partnership, the Arab women invention or inventors, Emirate Women Council, all those partnership. I was like, by the time I'm trying to summarize it, more and more information. That video is loaded. I'll go back and see what is happening. Unpassing is truly the future of the internet. Without wasting your time, I'm going to pass you over to the team that runs the background to make this meeting run smoothly. And it looked like we celebrated, one of them was celebrated on Friday. She was separated. She was surprised. She had a big birthday, Sister Irene, and maybe she has not recovered. So happy birthday to her once more. Her birthday was February 14th, and she was celebrated by the family on Friday. And Queen Debbie went and represented us. Thank you, Queen Debbie, for going all the way from Chicago. And King Alfred was there to represent the Dream Team. We're glad that you could get there and celebrate with our sister. But without wasting your time, I'm going to send you to the moderator team that makes the meeting run smoothly. Over to you, Queen Mama McCormick. That's how I call my sister. Over to you.
Thank you so much, sis. You're looking good today, even after everything you're going through in the family. You look good. Keep smiling. Hello,
Thank you.
family.
I'm working on like minimum sleep, but we thank God.
It's all right. When there's a will, there's a power. Here we are, another beautiful Sunday, and we're gathered here again to empower ourselves. And before we continue, I want to thank Sister P for all you do, for that wonderful music that you interpreted, the visual images that Dr. Derek shared with us. Thank you to Dr. Derek. Thank you, Brother Alfred, and thank you for the wonderful summary, Sister P. At this stage, we heard that song, right? And we know that we have a beautiful face, just as the voice. But before we continue with our business of the day, it cannot continue without having us in the right shape of our minds. The mindset is very important in what we do in our day-to-day activities, regardless of where we are, at home, at school, or at work. We need to be in a better mindset to be able to perform. So we're going to call on our sister, the one who smiles with us, empowers us with the best and best ever mindset, to share with us what she has prepared, because I know she comes every week loaded with new information. I don't know what she's going to bring out today, but let's welcome the one voice that we know sings in it to win it, Sister Lerato Shadare Prosperity.
Hi, sis.
Yes?
I was saying hi, sis, my beautiful sis.
Welcome. Oh, see, you're glowing
Hi,
today, mommy.
sis.
You're glowing
Oh,
today.
you too. You told me you didn't sleep, but you look amazing.
Thank you.
Oh, also, Dr. Patience, you look good, 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 good. I hope my picture is good, right? Is it fine? The video, the way that I set it up, because I don't know, my devices are just giving me.
I think you can come
You're
down
awesome.
It's very, because my devices are showing me. It's just, it's been a struggle. Like, I have my computer here, I have my iPad. For some reason, things were just doing what they wanted to do, but I'm here. It's so great to be here. Thank you, Dr. Derek. That video that you put together, like Dr. Patience said, I mean, I have to go back and look at it, because I looked at it, I was like, you know, when you get a tingle in your heart. I just got a tingle because I don't think people realize how big on passive is. I'm not saying is going to be, I'm saying is, because you can see the signs when something is going to be a giant or something is, I don't know, exploding to this great big, I don't know what else, other words that I can use, because what I saw there is just beyond description. It's amazing. It's amazing. We might look at it as something, you look at it and you're like, oh, I just want to make money, blah, blah, blah. But if you're somebody that has a vision, you will understand that whatever that we're dealing with is beyond, it's big. It's beyond all of us, right? And I'm excited that I'm a part of it. So I don't like, I sit and wonder how people don't see it. But also I understand that some people don't see it because, people thought, oh, we're going to make money tomorrow. That's it. And if somebody is struggling with certain things or whatever, it's hard to see the light at the end of the tunnel, or to have a vision that is beyond your need at that point. But I want us to just go beyond what we think we need right now and just look ahead and realize that On Passive is bigger than all of us, guys. I'm looking at everything and I'm just shaking my head. I'm like, wow. Wow, wow, wow. So I have to go back to that video, watch it again, and get the tingle in my heart, because we are dealing with something amazing here. And I'm really glad to be a part of it. I'm also glad to be a part of all of you today in this meeting. Every day you're in my heart. I pray for everybody here to succeed. I pray for On Passive. I pray for, we pray for the family, basically for success and for well-being, right? So it's great to be here. And when we connect every Sunday and we see each other, we're just, grateful to be here, to be alive. Dr. Benny always says that we have to thank the Almighty God, because we cannot live or exist all by our own. There is a power behind everything else. And for us is God. So we give him all the glory, the creator of the universe. So thank you, Dr. Benny, for always echoing that, so we can actually remember what we anchored on. So thank you so much. We've been on this topic of prosperity. What is real prosperity? And we spoke about peace, and now we're talking about love, because it's February. I think love is a topic of every day, but because of the month of February, we're talking about love and different places that love reaches, and especially when it comes to success, because there's really no prosperity. Prosperity is actually not complete when love is not in it, right? And anything that doesn't have love, or that is void of love, we know that it doesn't have God in it, because God is love, right? So, and if God is not in it, then life is not in it. So we cannot start fooling ourselves and think that we can exist without love and have life without love or without God, right? So depending on our definitions and different things, I mean, people can define this, oh, God is this, blah, blah. I'm talking about the force that creates everything, that force that makes life run through our veins. And for us to exist, there's a force behind it. And for everything to be together, to come together and to be held, there is that power. That power is love. Nothing exists without love, right? Nothing can truly exist or be alive without love. And true prosperity cannot really prosper or say you are how do I say it? You cannot really say that you are alive if you are not experientially manifesting yourself in the spirit of love. I hope you get me, right? So we're gonna go on that wave of thoughts. You're gonna share my thoughts with me today, or just be with me as I'm brainstorming with you what love is, because of course there's different kinds of love. They mentioned a couple of different kinds of love. You have eros, you have storge, you have so many agape, you have so many forms of love that we used as expression. But today I'm just going to talk about divine love, everything, that love that holds everything together, that love that reminds us, and that recognition that we're all connected. There's no separateness. So we are all connected to living beings and life. That is divine love, that we're not really separate. That connection, when you recognize that, then it's love, then you are in life, right? So we're going to talk about that today. And I'm just going to talk about different attributes of love, because as I was going through this topic, it was really challenging, because you go through some things, and when you discover them, they stay your spirit, and you just sit there and think, wow, okay, where am I in all of this? In love, where am I actually? Because some things that we believe, or some a way that we believe love is, especially through the TV, or what we see on TV, what we watch as that is expressed as love. You realize that some things are not really love, and the brainwashing of media and what they want to explain to us, what is not really what love is. But then when you go deeper and you go into the spiritual depth of what love is, then it convicts you. It's like a mirror that looks at you and says, okay, fine, how are you reflecting here? It causes you to examine yourself and ask yourself, in this path, where am I? Because you will realize that that thing that I said, that love, that recognition that we're not separate, we are connected, that what I want for myself, I will want for you, because we're not separate. If I don't wish anything good for you, then I don't wish anything good for myself, because there's no real separation, right? So that means then we have to, all of us, everything that is like, I was explaining it in one other meeting to say, it's like your body. You have the head, you have your limbs, you have your feet. If you take care of only your head, and then you don't take care of your hands, you don't take care of your belly or your feet, then you're actually not doing a good job. And then if the other parts are going into atrophy or they're getting destroyed, but they're part of the body, then you're not doing a good job. And most of what we see today, or what they show us love is, it just takes care of one part. And there's this delusion of thinking that we're separate. We can just take care of ourselves and we forget everything else. We forget about living beings here on this planet. We forget about everything. We're separate. It's only us. It's not possible. You have to take care of the whole, for the whole to prosper, in order for us to be really in true wealth and prosperity, and to function in that a realm of love, right? So I'm just going to mention a few attributes, and maybe we discuss it as a family. Like I said, when I come here, I share my heart. I don't claim to be an expert of anything. I'm just sharing my heart. And the attributes that I found very interesting, just because we read also about what love is, and we just, oh, it's so cozy and wonderful. But love is supposed to be a mirror. Most of these things that we're going to talk about today, we're just going to compare it and make it a mirror, make it bounce on us and evaluate ourselves. Can somebody, there's a mic open, so it's really disturbing me because I'm wearing a headphone. So if we can all mute our microphones, that will be great, please. Dr. Derek? Oh my God. Dr. Derek? Thank you.
Hello.
Hi, sir. Please, can you please mute your microphone?
Oh.
Yeah. So I'm just going to talk about some attributes of love that really, it's like a mirror. When you read or when you hear it, you just start evaluating yourself, because like I said, there's no true prosperity if we're not in love, right? So one of the things, of course, this comes from the biggest books of great wisdom, but I'm just going to break it down and try to define it. I cannot define love, but I will try and define it so that we can understand where we are, all of us. They talk about that love, the attributes of love is long suffering, right? And when we talk about long suffering, is like loving difficult people without being difficult in return. Remember when I said that, love is it's not only about yourself and your own bubble. It's about being connected to everything that is around you, right? It's about being connected to life. It's about being connected to all beings, right? So when we talk about long suffering, you have to exist with everybody. You're not an island. So when we talk about long suffering, that attribute of love that makes you, or that forms you or shapes you to be that person that is long suffering. It means that, we deal with difficult people all the time. We deal with different people all the time, and it's not all the time that we react in love. And, that attribute of long suffering that comes with love is something that we also have to cultivate, being long suffering, being able to deal with difficult situations or difficult peoples without being difficult in return, or doing tit for a tat. That is one attribute of love, right? I sat in this and I thought for long and hard. I said, wow, how do you become that person that is, of course, this also takes peace. to be so centered and be so peaceful that whatever somebody else does doesn't affect you. Yeah, if somebody does negative, you don't approach negative with negative, right? It must be somebody that is really centered and who understands themselves in order to not be reactive when somebody acts in a certain way. And sometimes people act in a certain way and you will, like anger. When you go past anger, you will realize that there's fear behind that. So it manifests as anger, but this person in reality, they're actually afraid, right? There's some insecurity. That anger or that manifestation of it's just a mask, right? And so when you approach the situation with love, or you try to see beyond the anger, you will see that for some people, you reach the individual in a different way that they've never been reached before. You start breaking some barriers and walls, and you're able to reach this person when we react in love and understanding, right? And so yeah, it's deep. I sat there with myself. I was like, wow, there's so many times when even me myself, you'll be in situations, somebody's giving you 100, you want to just approach them also with 100. But to take that moment before you react, and take a moment and relax, and okay, what is actually happening here? Because I always say that sometimes you go through emotion, people go through emotions, and we carry their emotions even when they don't belong to us, and we start being reactive. So we have to be well and centered enough to realize when something doesn't belong to us. When somebody throws anger at you, and then you realize, actually, this doesn't belong to me. It belongs to this person. But how do I now approach this situation? How do I react to this situation? Do I react with the same anger and aggression, or do I react in love and kindness? Right? That's something. Yeah. That is something. I said with it, I was like, wow, I need to do my work here, because it's not always easy to be long suffering and approach difficult people with love and care. Sometimes you're like, no, right? Give me 100, I give you 150, but it doesn't solve anything, especially us. When we talk about prosperity, our prosperity comes from people. We're going to have to render certain services, or you have to give something and get something back, right? For people who are in business, that you accumulate wealth by actually providing a service or different thing, when you're building your wealth. And that when you pour love into your business, then that's what you're going to get back. You get back what you give, right? So that's that. We're talking about cause and effect here. So what you give out is what you get back in return, and then you get 100 times more when it comes and returns back, right? So I sat with that, and I was like, wow, this is deep, right? In order for us to prosper well and to really walk in prosperity, there's so much that we have to do within ourselves, and to work within ourselves in order for us to really prosper, right? So yeah, that one had me sitting there for some time, and just sitting and reflecting on it. And really, it was a mirror for myself to say, I really have to work on myself and work on my parameter. They like that love measurement. I have to work on it. I have to work on myself. And then we talk about also the second attribute, which is kindness. All right, kindness. So that mercy and a good heart towards every living being. The kindness to every living being, not only things that you care about, but also, there are people like, for me, I really care about environment. I really care about animals. I believe that we're not the only ones that are supposed to enjoy this planet, right? Great big planet. We have living beings that we have to take care of. So we have to be mindful of how we use this planet and what we do for it, so that it doesn't only benefit us. So that kindness, you see, there's this, I'm sorry, I'm just going to deviate a little bit. There's this guy, he loves animals, and he will see an animal struggling. He will go there, put himself in that space and rescue that animal. And, and after that, he will nurse it back to health and then release it back to the wild. I'm like, that has to do with certain kind, like a special kind of kindness and a heart for that person to have a heart for something that's not, the animals is not going to give him anything back in return. But that kindness that says, this is a living being, I care about it. I care enough that I want to see it prosper. That is something right there, right? So that kindness that we extend towards living beings and our environment and everything. So that kindness, to cultivate it and just to cultivate kindness, right? So I'm going to go to the third attribute. It says, love does not envy, right? So it does not resent others based on their position or possessions. Right there. Wow. that blew my mind too. Is like, we don't resent others because they have things that we don't have, right? You don't resent people because they have position or possessions that we want. That is something right there. How many times have we had something and somebody is envious, or we have that envy or something that is just creeping in our hearts because somebody else is doing better than us? And what more about now when we start prospering through on passive, our friends, our families, everybody, some people are not going to be happy. Not everybody's going to be happy for us, right? For that endurance that we have now, sitting here, attending webinars, being very diligent with our business, when the prosperity starts showing, not everybody's going to celebrate us, guys, right? So yeah, that's another attribute there that is just, it makes you sit down and like, wow, okay, so we don't envy others' possessions or positions, right? So it's yeah, it's amazing right there. So I'm just going to mention 4 more so that I don't take too much time. Then another attribute, it says love does not parade itself. It is not puffed up, right? So it builds others up rather than promotes itself, right? It doesn't self-promote, but it builds others. Right there, guys. That's a nugget right there. It's just like you put other people before you know, you don't just self-promote, because there's something about quietness in the spirit and everything. You'll see that things will promote you. Life itself will promote you if you're always looking for the well-being and genuinely caring about others. Life will promote you. There are laws that govern the universe, and those laws are real, like the law of gravity, the law of aerodynamics. They work, right? Cause and effect, right? So when there's certain things that we do, of course, not intentional to say, I want to get this, but no, but when we genuinely are in love and we don't parade ourselves and we do, those things will elevate us in some way or the other. It will pay back somewhere and it will come back to us some way or the other. Whatever that the fruits that we will reap from that will come one way or the other. It's like it will turn around 360. We will get the benefits of what we take out, right? So it will come back. So another attribute, love does not behave rudely. So it's considerate of others, right? So I told you that you cannot love and just be a bubble by yourself. Love, you have to go out and extend yourself. It's about understanding and recognizing that connection to everything, every living being and life. So it means you have to consider others, guys. It can't be all about me, 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 me. If we're working in the spirit of prosperity and love, we have to consider us, others. Hence, oh bless. We have to consider others' pain. We have to consider others' grief or whatever. If we have and they don't have, we have to find a way to say, okay, how can I apply myself and extend that love and make sure that you have something I can contribute to picking you up, right? So we have to care about another person. We have to care about the other. We have to care about another living being. It's not about me, 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 me. It's not, right? So 2 more, yeah? Love is not provoked, is not easily irritated. Ah! This one I was laughing at, right? Because when you live with your family, you live with people. Oh my God, there are times where you're just irritated. It's just, I was like, right? It talks to me. You can just be irritated by certain things, but just that moment when you're about to get to that quarter to irritation, like just there, you're there close to irritation, you just pull yourself back. It's like, what is actually bothering me? Is it actually this person's or is it mine? Am I getting, irritated for something that doesn't have to do with that person because of my own frustration? I do it with my kids. Sometimes, they will come to me when I'm really, really stressed about work or stressed about I'm doing a project, and they will want everything. And sometimes you want to react with and then I would stop in the middle. I'm like, but this child asked me something. It has nothing to do with them. How I'm reacting it has nothing to do with them. So I can't push that to them. So I have to evaluate myself here. Where is this all coming? This child doesn't deserve all that energy that I'm giving back, right? So that moment of self-reflection, sometimes I self-reflect too late, but I apologize, right? So that I can own when I'm not in the right, I'm not centered, and I'm trying to push my aggression somewhere else, or on my kids, on my spouse, I have to self-reflect and go and apologize and say, you know what, that was not yours. I'm not right now. I need to get myself together. I'm sorry for yelling or lashing out. I have to apologize and own it, right? So we can't be easily irritated. We have to own when we know that we're not centered. We have to own that and apologize where we need to, right? So the last one is love thinks no evil. That means you do not hold grudges, but you practice forgiveness, right? You do not hold grudges and you practice forgiveness. Oh my God, right? And forgiveness is not for the other person, it's also for yourself. Forgiveness is actually for yourself, right? Do not hold grudges, guys. You do not hold negativity and think good will come. I told you that everything is attracted to what belongs to it. Any energy, whatever energy that you operate in, will attract its brothers and sisters and uncles and cousins, right? So when we choose to walk in love and life, we will attract everything that pertains to life and love, right? But if we walk in we choose to the contrary, we will attract those kind of experiences, right? So when we choose to forgive, when we choose to pardon others, when we choose to not hold grudges and we let go, then things will start flowing also for us. Let go of negative energy, no grudges. People will do something, or people will offend you, but you don't hold on to offense. You don't hold on. You can get angry. I mean, it's one of the emotions that we have as human beings, right? But you don't hold on to it forever. There are people, somebody will do something in 1998. They still remember it till now. When you talk to them, like, you remember in 1998, you did this, they'll start counting things that you did 5 years ago, 4 years ago, whatever years ago. And I'm thinking, how do you keep that? You even remember to the T what this person did. How? Right? So forgiveness is deep. That's another topic on its own right there. Just forgiveness on its own. It's just, yeah, it's deep. Right? So, but if we're really gonna practice or live in love, we're going to have to let go of grievances, guys. We're going to have to forgive. We are not going to hold grudges, because then energy is blocked. Things won't flow. Life won't flow through us. Prosperity won't flow through us, right? So all these good things that we're looking for, peace, prosperity, and everything that agrees with life, is not going to flow if we are not forgiving and we are grudging, we're holding grudges, and it's not going to flow. So if you really look at love is like a mirror, like I said. It reflects, it makes you sit down and now start evaluating to say, oh my God, where are these areas in my life where I really have to, check myself and start making a different decision here, right? And changing certain things so that I can be in the flow of life. So I can be in the flow of life and vibrate in a different frequency now, the frequency of abundance, right? Because you can not have two things operating in you, darkness and light. It cannot be. They don't go together. So we are choosing life. All of us here, we said we're choosing life. So anything that pertains to life, it's all these things that we choose: love, light, peace. So for all this prosperity to flow without any hindrances, we have to now reflect on ourselves and check those areas that have blockages and start working on ourselves, guys, right? In order for us to really dwell in real prosperity. I'm not just talking about paper money. We just have paper money. No, I'm talking about real wealth, right? So we have to check those things and then get ourselves aligned so we can prosper. Prosper. Okay. So in case you didn't hear it today, I love you so much and I can't wait to meet you again next week. So let's sit in that for this week. I just want you to reflect on those points that I mentioned. Your kindness, right? Are we envying people? Are we parading ourselves and self-promoting ourselves? Are we behaving rudely? Are we seeking our own? Are we forgiving, or are we holding on to 10,000-year-old grudges? What are we doing here, guys? Let's work on ourselves. I love you so much, in case you didn't hear it today. I love you.
We love you too, Sister Lerato. We love you. And yes, we love you in return. And we always look forward to hearing you say that every time. Thank you for that wonderful resound. Wow, those attributes of love. You know, in Unpassive, we have been through all of these things. We've experienced it one shape or form at one point in time or another, where you come into rudeness, you unnecessarily being irritated over something that has no value, anger, and the one that is always lacking is forgiveness. All the other things are there. You're rude to someone you don't realize, and you even go as far as reminding them about what has already happened. Then you get irritated, but you forget to forgive. Thank you says thank you. That is just an outstanding way. This love session today, I don't know how I can pull it just out the same with the song. The images that Dr. Derek put in the song, add it to this and put together so we can share it to as many people as possible. That let them listen to it. When you're getting envious of someone because they have something you don't, that person is not the fault of you not having it. It is not someone else's fault. Maybe the reason why it happened was to help you to learn how to navigate your way and move forward to something even greater. So why envy somebody else? Lord, I have never paid so much attention to uh, this presentation is just mind blowing. I didn't know I'll use that word, but somehow it just escaped my lips today. It is an outstanding, outstanding presentation, sis. Thank you very much. I'm looking forward to the continuation of love next week in a different manner, but next time. For now, we're moving on to the next topic for the day, which is being done by our sister, one of our leaders in this forum. Her name is Sister Kanla Rachel. We know who she is. She's always here with us, doing one thing or another. She has, she is a people's person because she has her background is in human resources. So I call that people's person. She works with humans in various aspects, and here she works with us. Today she'll be talking to us, as you can see, showing underneath, is part two of a session she started, and another part will be coming later during the next couple of weeks. So this is part two that she's going to be talking to us about inclusion. And she has prepared for us that special topic. So we're going to pass it over to her so she can do what she does best. Sister Kanla, we appreciate you for this part two of your presentation and truly honored that you have the time to do this for us. Please, the microphone is yours.
Thank you so much, Queen Sister Debbie, our great and wonderful moderator. It is humbling for me to be able to be with you again today as your speaker and Unperceiving. Above all, it is with joy that I'm able to participate, do what I am doing with love, and be able to share that with you because I love to share that with you. All of us here. I am just trying, I cannot even come close to match what our sister has just delivered to us in her mindset, the attributes of love, patience, love yourself before you can love the other person. Do unto yourself first what you expect to be done to you. Kindness. Do not envy the other. Forgiveness. Oh my. And the list goes on. Thank you, Sister Lerato. That was really mind-blowing. And I am excited and looking forward to next week a continuation, and how beautifully this flows into our conversation of today. Inclusion. How these attributes smoothly fit into our topic of inclusion today in one form, shape, or another. Because when we talk of inclusion, we will be mentioning some of these in different perspective, in different scenarios. And I really do hope that you keep the mindset at the back of your mind. And as we go ahead, you'll be able to see how it is also applicable with this topic. Because there is nothing you can do if you don't have love for it. And if you don't love yourself, then you cannot be able to share it with the next person. You cannot be able to experience that spirit of prosperity in your life, in your family, and in your business, in our own passive business, which is why we are here today. And we are glad that we are members of this proud company called On Passive. I can just keep on going, but I don't want to run faster without, first of all, thanking all our leaders before me, our welcome team. My sincere gratitude for all you do. Thank you for welcoming all of us. Our moderators, Dr. P, I want also to thank you. I had thanked Sister Debbie. Thank you as well. If I don't call your name, it's not because I am forgetting. I just want to acknowledge that, yes, thank you for everything you do, all our leaders behind the scene. Dr. Derek, I echo in saying that the music, that was just awesome. Thank you for all you do. We appreciate you as well. And permit me share my screen, my slides right now, so we can be able to go straight into our conversation for this afternoon. And please, I would like that we make it interactive like we did the last time. I understand not everybody was here, or not everybody might have been here when we did it, but just bear with us. I can assure you, you are not going to be lost. But let us all join and participate in this process because it involves all of us. Thank you once more, brand ambassadors, for coming here. My name is Kanla, and I will be doing series 2 of our topic, which we started as diversity. This is a topic that I am so passionate about. And because it is broad, it's not something that you can discuss in one presentation. And I know each of us in our workplaces or even at home, we live it daily. We go to work, we live it daily, we apply it daily. So, but you will be amazed to see how these things all come together and how it is applicable in our company on passive. How it is on passive has been doing a wonderful job. How it is unique when it comes to this topic of inclusion. So, but then before I get to inclusion and asking you what it is, please, if you can just tell us in 1 or 2 sentences in the chat, what do you understand to be inclusion? Or from your background, from your perspective, what is inclusion? As we put those answers in the chat, I would like to just go back one more time and do some brief slides about diversity, so it flows directly into inclusion, because it's been a while. We had talked about diversity, and everyone participates, people in place, but we work together. We've discovered that there is more that binds us together than what separates us. We are more alike than sometimes maybe friends or other families or the society may want to make us think that we are unalike. And so during the last series, we talked about what is diversity. It's the different individuals valuing each other, regardless of your skin, intelligence, talents, or your years. It has absolutely nothing to do with all of the other things that we may believe if we are not yet exposed to this concept of diversity. And as we simply will put it, it is acceptance and respect. Respect for yourself first, respect for the other. And then we moved ahead and we tried to explore some of the different dimensions of diversity. And we talked about race as a dimension. We talked about ethnicity, culture, age, gender, religious belief, physical abilities, political, socio-economic, and as well as even our original sense of diversity. God created us as one. We are one people. We are God's children. But as humans, we tend to try to identify differently by putting ourselves in buckets. And we talked about why did diversity matter to you and as an unperceiving. Just a refresher. We have a visionary in our CEO, Mr. Mufare, Ash Mufare, who has invited us to join in this crusade. He is a man of heart, and he is inviting us to join in this dream to make the world a more better place through unpassive. Because this is our business. And when we start managing our business, we need to be aware of these concepts. You need to be aware of the people with whom you will interact. You need to be aware of your environment. And you need to be aware deeply what is going to be able to enhance your business when it comes to diversity versus what will not. And so with that, I will take us now to inclusion. Having discussed all of that, how does inclusion fit into that? Sister Yvonne, do we have one or two answers in the chat for me, please? Or contributions?
Sorry, I was muted. I was talking to you. I'm saying I'm sorry there is nothing there, but I'd like to make a little contribution if you don't mind.
Please go ahead.
So to me, inclusion simply is access to, and whatever you want to put behind that, regardless of gender, all the other things that you mentioned before. So it's equal access to, regardless of gender, race, age, and all those other constructs. And I would like to say it's just leveling the playing field without those artificial restrictions. That's my contribution. Thank you.
Wonderful, great. Any other person has any other perspective. Thank you, Sister Yvonne. That is absolutely right.
Mama Edith has, sorry, Queen Kanla. Mama Edith has said in the chat just now, she said, On Passive is an inclusive company. So that is what she has to say.
Mama Edith, you are ahead of me. Wonderful. That is awesome. Passive is an inclusive company. And I know that you're saying that because of what we all have seen and we all have experienced. So thank you. But if we want to go to the educational definition or understanding of inclusion, the Cambridge Dictionary says inclusion is the act of including someone or something as part of a group, a list, or a person or a thing that is included. We all have different thoughts. I know not everybody may be able to unmute and speak at this time, but it is understandable. I know you have different thoughts about what inclusion truly means to you. And like I said, as human beings, we are more alike than we are unalike. We continue by expanding more on what inclusion is. It is the culture in which the mix of people can come to work. You feel comfortable and confident to be themselves or to be yourself and work in a way that suits you and you deliver to your work environment or your business the services that is required of you. Inclusiveness ensures that everyone feels valued. And importantly, it adds value to the organization. When our sister Lerato talked about love and the attributes of love, let us think for 1 second. When we practice those attributes of love, what are we trying to do? What does it signify to us? Because we want to make it known, we want to feel inclusive, we want to be added. You want your voice to be heard. You want to ensure that everyone feels valued and respected as much as you would also want them to respect you. Whether it's in your workplace, your organization, or even in the family, in our own passive family, it is all of us. Me, you, the company, our communities, our society, and the world at large. We all need inclusiveness. And I am sure we all have experiences in one shape or form that, like our sister talked about love, sometimes a sister, brother, or even at work, a colleague will do something to you and you begin to think, oh my goodness, what were they thinking? How did they even get to do this? How does this happen? Is he listening to me? Is she listening to me? Am I being heard? Am I being represented? Type 1 in the chat, please, if you have experienced such a situation in which you think that you were not listened to. We'll wait for about a few seconds and see how many we get. And please hold on to that thought, because you're going to share a few with us for those that will be able to type something in the chat. Now, if you feel that you have also experienced a scenario where you feel you were not represented, please type 2 in the chat for us. And then you can give us example of that scenario or experience you had, whether it's with your leadership at work, with your company, whether it's within the family, whether it's with your colleague, your peers, or whether it's with your children. Okay. Sister Yvonne, do we have responses yet?
Yes, you do have. The first response was from my editor again, and she said, inclusion means everyone is welcome. And then to the other questions where you were asking for numbers, Mr. Carlton Clark has 1, which is the first question that you asked about having experienced that, correct? And so does Queen Yvonne Mundy and Queen Antoinette Sterling and Queen Nancy Judy. They all have 1s. As a matter of fact, some have 3 times 1.
That is great. That is great, because then it tells us that you and us at some point in time we do experience that. So if they can share with us briefly what it was and what they think might have been the result of this not being listened to or feeling not being represented.
And how would you like them to do that? Are you going to give them the mic, or how's that accomplished?
If they raise their hand, then they can talk. If not, Dr. P, you can give them the mic. If not, then they can enter that in the chat. We just 1 or 2.
I've opened the mic. Since you want more interactive, the mic is open. They can raise their hand.
Okay. So we just announced that the mic is open for those, because there are quite a few here. Yes.
Okay. Yeah. Raise your hand and
share. Yes, and share with us.
Sister Yvonne will coordinate, please.
Yes.
Since she's doing that, you can raise your hand. The mic is open to interact. Sister Kanla wants more interactive.
Yes, I don't see any hands. I do see the numbers there, though. So let me see if I see any written chats. Nope, no. Maybe we can call some of the people who answered, like Mr. Carlton Clark. He's the first one to have his hand up. So I don't know whether he wants to speak. So
yes, please. If he wants to speak, then it's all right. If not, then we go to the next person. The next person.
Okay. Queen Nancy Judy, she has a comment. She said, when you don't have a title, it's easy for your voice to be heard. That is the comment. I'm not sure if
there's a hand up from Esther. Sorry to interrupt you. Yvonne, there is a hand up. Esther.
Where? I thought I saw it before, but I don't see it anymore. Okay, please.
Her hand is up. Her hand is still up. Yeah.
Okay, ask her to please go ahead and speak then, because I don't see her. So.
Okay. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you, sister.
Okay, thank you so much for allowing me to contribute something to this inclusion. This is Sister Kanla. This is a very wonderful topic you are treating here, and it's very important. Yes. A lot of people have been demoralized because of this same inclusion, especially in an office setting. I have been a victim and I have been a witness to this. When you are in an organization where you feel that you are not part of a group, especially where there are segregations, in teams, then this is more for someone that is disabled, or you are from a kind of there's something they call it in somebody that is disabled, when you are in a group where some laws are being put and the organization or company knows that as a disabled person that you are not able to fulfill to that new rule that is being put, so that will put you at a disadvantage. So in that process, you are not included in that rule, knowing that if it is something that will lead to promotion or whatever, so that has deprived you from having that promotion. It is a daily experience in offices. So inclusion is really, really a very big topic, and very important that organizations and companies that are employing people and some managers to look into and be sure that whatever law or rule they are putting it across, just like on passive, Ash Mufara is trying to bring everybody together on equal level. But this is never experienced in so many companies. So this is an area both the government, the companies, the employers should look into. Thank you.
Great feedback. Thank you so much. Great feedback. I get, yes, people with disability are not being listened to or represented. Thank you. Your point is well noted. And as we go ahead, just pay attention and we will address how this can be able to address, or how you as the individual or the person, you can be able to make your voice heard and not allow it to go for too long. So any other experience to share with us before we move forward? One more, please.
Queen Kanla, can I jump in?
Oh, yes, please.
Yes. So yes, talking about exclusion, really, let me use that word instead of inclusion. I can tell you that I've experienced and witnessed it in several settings and occasions. And one of the ones that really sort of stand out for me is when, like in corporate settings, when you get what you consider as executives or people that are invited to a corporate meeting. And then when all those people come in, you kind of get, like, let me call it the old boys club. They come in, they hug each other. They talk about some things that they have discussed at previous events. They talk about the golf that they played or whatever event they had. And right there next to them, you may find that there's some other people who are sort of just twiddling their thumbs or looking at their shoes, and nobody even feels like they are even worth a picture hanging on the wall that somebody can turn around and look at. And having been at one of those events, what I noticed coming out of that workshop was that there were people that had some extremely brilliant ideas, and they left with their ideas dead in their bellies and never voiced them out because nobody included them in the discussion. And only the squeaky wheels got oiled. That is, only the same people that kept talked over and over. And the outcome of it was that the aim that the company had hoped to actually get a diverse set of viewpoints to build onto was lost because people who came with great ideas were not included. And we can talk about those in corporate settings, in family settings, or other areas. But the outcome of not really including people is that those quiet and shy, quote unquote, voices end up actually coming in with good ideas that end up being lost because nobody listens to them.
Thank you.
Wonderful. It is like you were here when I was preparing this topic. Great appreciation for that feedback, Dr. John. You have just covered a lot. And the only thing I can add there is that the same thing will apply, whether it's your children at home, whether it's your colleague, or whether it is in the work environment, or whether it is in a community where we go out and we meet different people. It's the same thing. And so with that, true inclusion, for us to be able to move beyond that, true inclusion can only happen when it is an ongoing process. And it needs to be consistent. And it needs to be a learning process. Why is it supposed to be ongoing, consistent, and learning? Because we are one people, human beings created by God, but we are different in terms of we are diverse, mixed people. We have different backgrounds. We have different skills. We reason things differently. We grew up in different parts of the world globally. Everything that we have, that we were groomed with, is what shapes us, is what makes us who we are. And so you do not expect the next person you meet to be like you. And you do not expect the next person you meet to suddenly change and become what you expect them to be. No matter how hard we try. And so with that in mind, we will realize that passive uniquely has positioned itself such that our visionary, our CEO, Mr. Ash Mofare, listens and then he acts. He started this company from the ground and building it to the top. He listens and then he acts. And we all have been a part of that.
Yeah.
He focuses on the individual and not the company profit. And he is fully aware of the diversity that exists in the company as unpassive. We are a global company. I recall even in corporate meetings or when he visits some of the groups, there is always emphasis on people's experience. You don't have to experience what they experience, but when you understand inclusion, then you should be able to empathize with people's experience, because that opens up the door, that opens up that love, that opens up a lot more to come that you can see in the other person, that you can share in the other person, and you can learn from the other person, which in the same way, you intrinsically, you are examining your bias, not of your fault, because that is how you were brought up. That is what you know. It is said that you only know what you know, and you don't know what you don't know. Some of our personal biases is because we don't know. That is what we are addressing. And Maya Angelou describes it beautifully by saying, prejudice is a burden that confuses the past, threatens the future, and renders the present inaccessible. because we hold on to that bias and not knowing that it is not the same with the person next to you, your brother next to you, your sister next to you, or even sometimes your own child. We live in an era, in a society where change is constant. Things change. And I know change is difficult. But when we do not have that understanding, or if we are not exposed to that awareness, then we tend to hold on to these. If I may want, from my own experience, I think our company and our CEO has just done the opposite of this. He is the most, or the one in our time right now that has been more inclusive, bringing as many of us together along with his dream. Being aware of our cultural differences, and yet, because he had a vision, he knows the beauty, he knows the strength, he knows the importance, he knows the benefit of what comes when you have a diversified mix of people that you work with. When you include them with what you are doing, because that is just who we are. It attracts and retains a wider talent. Can we even begin to talk about unpassive talents? Beginning from India, going to Egypt, here in the US, in Asia. That is why we are no match to other companies. Our diversified talents is our strength. And we all think differently. We share our experiences in corporate webinars, our perspective. And that is the key driver for innovation, development, and engagement. That is why Unpassive has been able to be built from the ground and bringing it to the top. Our CEO engaged the founders. He was open to welcome everyone. Sit at the table when the food is being prepared. Let me borrow Dr. Derek's words. We have been there together preparing the food, and we see it being cooked. And now it is ready. Does this sound like a company you know? Absolutely. That is our company, Unpassive. Yes, it is. And so for our own business, as we go forward, the world is changing, and it is changing faster than ever before. And diversity, inclusion is becoming more and more imperative to the future, to our business, to the workplace environment, in organizations, even in our homes. So it is imperative that we are aware and we learn and understand that having an inclusive model that works for your company, that works for your organization, is important. And also very important that the leadership of the company aligns on the commitment to the diversity and inclusion. Dr. John just said it all in his example of not being heard, company not listening to employees that are silent, and sometimes it is mistaken to be something else. But we will address that as we go ahead and understand more about Unpassive. Let us look at a few benefits when we talk about inclusion in the workplace, in the organization, think about it as in on passive, and your own personal business, because each of us now have our own business. No one can predict how people react to change. And so the feeling included is a key aspect of human life. And our company, being the heart of humanity, is exactly that. We, all of us, we are here in our different platforms. We feel welcomed. And it is safe for us. We are able to express ourselves and express it for truly who we are, and not what it is expected of us to be. Our company is demonstrating appreciation. All of us, the active founders and users, those that are not founders, for all the inputs. We continue. It's ongoing. Working together, we collaborating, and we show that we care for each other. Whether it's business or whether it's family. Dr. P talked about our dear sister, Queen Irene, who just celebrated her birthday over the weekend. That is Dream Team on Passive Caring. We work, but we also go and we celebrate one of us. There is a benefit in greater diversity because it enables not only your colleagues, but all of the different platforms that we see. We do things differently, working in ways that reflects us, our diversity. I'm sure all of us, we have been to more than 1, 2, or 3 platforms. We do not do our meetings in the same manner. Dream Team is known for a couple of ways that we do our webinar presentations, including updates. Another team will be good. Engineer Mike is good at technology topics. And 360 is also good at other topics that we are not, but yet we collaborate together. And that has exposed us to be able to learn about inclusiveness. We have included, we feel included, because every time we go there, we are welcomed. We don't sit silent when we are there. When it's time for participation, we participate. We are there, we are there, either on the chat, typing in, asking questions. Deep dive, Dr. Derek is always there, helping users. It doesn't matter where you're joining in from. That is collaboration. That is the benefit of doing things differently, with flexibility, work balance, and yet we are a diverse mix, but we are inclusive. Everyone is welcome. Everyone is listened to. And everyone seeks to be represented, because we are represented in OnPassive. We treat each other fairly. There is equal opportunities in terms of outcomes. We are about 1.4 million founders in OnPassive. That is an equal platform of opportunities that we do not find anywhere in any other company. That is the benefit of being inclusive. Mutual respect. And we as OnPassive have learned to cherish that diversity and inclusion. And we are learning from it. And oh, it is becoming our mantra. Yes, it is. Just as we will do it in our workplaces, because I know we are still working. Not everyone is ready to get to be here full time. So we still work and then we come to OnPassive. But I am sure we can clearly see the difference between the two. So the next slide, you can see a few things that are so unique. What gives me this excitement about inclusion? Why OnPassive? It's unique. And these are not even conclusive because everything cannot be entered in one slide. But for the most part, our OnPassive ecosystem is a one-stop shop all. I don't know of any company that is out there. Our marketing model, our CEO is the best in marketing. And his model is what is being applied within the company. The OnPassive, our company is growing at a much faster rate in the marketplace. None like other. Thanks to him. In terms of our founding members, we are 1.4. That is the foundation that no other company can beat, because you begin strong. Our corporate leadership and the different platforms, everyone is following in the footsteps. Our diversified products is all inclusive. Whether it's the ODEX, OCHAT, this is not all of the products. Many more new ones will be coming as we get the updates. But we know this is going to be an all-inclusive company with products and services in our ecosystem. Our partnership and offices that is around the globe. Dr. Derek just presented us with many more data, many more statistics in our music, our beautiful music of where we are right now. What is going on? That is unique. Where do you get constant updates that is open to you as an employee? As much as we get in OnPassive. But at the same time, this inclusion, I understand for us, it may be, it's a lot. It's a broad concept to understand, but you don't have to understand everything at once. We just need to understand what inclusivity means, and it's a good place to start. It doesn't come without some challenges. And these challenges are because we have our differences. Not negatively, but differences because of who we are. And so the way I think or the way I will reason out something is not the same way you will do. That does not mean I am wrong and you are right. That does not mean that what you are saying is not going to be acceptable. No. But how can you help me understand? How can you help me see that what you are saying can also be exactly what I am saying, but you are saying it from a different perspective? In the workplace, these challenges will always be there. And the slide ahead of us or in front of us talks about the lack of trust. We don't just trust some people. Sometimes they don't even need to have done anything to us, but just like sometimes we have been brainwashed to think that we don't trust some races, some people from certain regions, you don't just trust. Why? They don't have an answer for you. Communication. Oh, yes. I can bet communication is one of those that I know a lot of us have come across, which is a challenge of inclusiveness in the workplace. Some may be due to language barrier, especially if you come from where you don't speak English or you don't speak French or you don't speak whatever the official language is. But then it may take a little while for you to be able to learn the language and you start. But then still within that language or communication challenge, sometimes they will arise what I call cultural expressions. Let me share an experience with you. As an African or a Black person, our parents raise us to be respectful. When you talk or your parents are talking to you or when a senior is talking to you, we do not look them straight in the face or in the eyes. We stand there, we listen, they say whatever they say, we respond, we engage. We don't show body language because you're paying attention and you're listening, or sometimes you may not be facing them. But when I arrived to the United States, I quickly found out that that was a problem. At the job place, the expectation is that when you are engaging in communication, we're talking, whether it's your peer, whether it's you're talking with leadership, you need to be able to look at them straight in the face, talk, make eye contact. And when you do not do that, it becomes an issue. It means you will be misunderstood or interpreted as not being confident. Another example is our children, the young children. They are not raised to talk back or to even look at their parents in the face. And in schools, classrooms, a child who doesn't look at the teacher or the instructor may be misunderstood as a child that is having problems. And I know example of situations where, because of this misunderstanding, children have been sent with notes that they have disabilities. But if only the institution, or if only the school, if only the company is able to understand the concept of diversity and inclusion, then you will realize that there is nothing wrong, because that is who they are. And if we are to be able to be ourselves and do what we need to do, and to be able to achieve the highest productivity while at work, then we need to be ourselves. We need to be accepted for who we are. Because you function at your best when you are who you are. And sometimes we know different ways in which discrimination comes. I'm not going to elaborate on each of them. Our sister just talked about disability. That was a very good example when you talked about. And it all goes back to the company is not open to listening before they act. And so some people are left, are shut out, unrepresented. They are silenced because of that unconscious bias. And now another very good challenge which I discovered, and it just blew my mind away, is at this time in every company or every workplace, we now have about 4 generations in one marketplace. From the baby boomers to the millennials to the Gen Z, and I think now we are in Gen Y, if my recollection is correct, but if not, someone correct me, please. 4 generations in one marketplace. So how do you think all of these generations are supposed to work together collaboratively? It boils down to one thing: diversity, inclusion. When you do that, then everything will be fine, because you truly see everyone for who they are. And unfortunately, I had talked about how change is rapidly coming. It's not going to stop, but we have to keep on trying and going. Technology is only converging more and more. Gen Z is a generation that is the leading generation that wants to be more inclusive at work, even their lifestyle, families, than any other. And they are actively pushing for this. So how can we improve on some of these challenges that we all face? Whether it's your personal business, at work, in our teams, whether you are supervisors or whether you are directors or whether you are in leadership, all of this will be some of the challenges, but not conclusively that this is all, but it will be subjected to whatever your company is. It will be to open up to diversity and inclusiveness, so you can attract the talent, you can attract everything that you need for your business to prosper, for your business to grow, for you to be able to make money, and at the same time to create a work environment where it is safe and free. And so I could not talk about inclusiveness without thinking about Black History Month. We are in February, and February is the Black History Month. We celebrate that in America. What is Black history all about? I wanted to share it from the perspective of diversity and inclusion, because the history entirely fit perfectly with this concept. Black History Month celebration honors the contributions of African Americans to the United States history. It is something that began years ago and as a Negro History Week. Black students in colleges and universities protested for Black History Month to be able to achieve this holiday that we all are celebrating today. And it was first honored by Abraham Lincoln, of course. It honors our President Abraham Lincoln and Frederick Douglass. It is a month with different themes as the communities grow, as change evolves, as many more get to understand about what Black History Month is. It is a time where prominent Black Americans are honored. Organizations now all across the United States participate in sponsorship in celebrating Black History Month. We have a couple there like the Library of Congress, the Smithsonian Institute, and many more. These are just the prominent ones. Small businesses within our community, even families, or within our religious groups, we all celebrate Black History Month. Why is it such a big deal? And why do we have to remind ourselves that February is Black History Month and it needs to be celebrated? And the effort even that countries worldwide are now joining in celebrating Black History Month. Historically, Black campus universities are at the front line promoting Black History Month all year round, as it continues to recognize all African experiences. It is because it has been all along the struggle of being able to be included. It is about American history of African Americans trying to have their voices heard, to be seen, just to be free, to be themselves. Have their diversity, be beautiful as they are. And it has a lot to do with the entire concept of diversity all year round. That is just amazing, the fact that we are having this conversation, and it so happened that Black History Month is February and we are talking of inclusiveness. I do remember when our first Black president, Barack Obama, was elected. It was something to remember. Why was that? Because it felt good to be included. It felt good to be represented. And we all felt that, yes, now we can be seen, we can be heard, we can be our own diversity without trying to be someone else. And so a lot of positiveness has come from Black History Month to be where we are today. And so we continue to celebrate Black History Month in this special way for what it is, for the inclusiveness that it brings to all of us. Whether in this business or in our workplace. I will leave you with this thought as we continue to celebrate Black History Month with a poem in memory of Martin Luther King. We are all one. We are all one. An ancient refrain. Teachings of the East that do not mean we are all the same. It is an acknowledgement that humanity is one species, 99.9 genetically the same, scientifically true, but our constructed reality is a different game. The narratives of race and class separate us into categories. History is written by the victors, but these are not our stories. Thank you. That is the end of my presentation. I hope you enjoyed it as much as I did, and I will be looking forward to answering any questions at this
Meeting. Queen Kanla, thank you. Thank you so much for that outstanding. Oh my goodness. Inclusion, part 2, and one more to go. Thank you, Queen Kanla. Very much appreciated. I'm sorry. Thank you so much. You know, we are in this as a family and we work as a team. So I'm going to call on my team member, Sister Irene Ikwede, who we just celebrated her birthday, to take over from me. So welcome, Queen Sister Irene, the birthday girl. I'm passing the microphone to you. Thank you for that presentation.
Yeah. Are we still reflecting on Queen Kanla or Queen Irene is just taking over?
Let me clarify. Queen Irene is taking over the moderation, and we'll continue with whatever.
Okay. I just wanted after we hear from Queen Irene, I just want to say something for Queen Kanla. Go ahead. Go ahead.
Thank you. Thank you.
Good afternoon, good evening, good morning, wherever you are joining us this afternoon. It's afternoon for me in Maryland, so you will hear me say afternoon, even if it's midnight, wherever you are. Queen Kanla, oh my God, thank you very much for that presentation. In the world where we live now, or even in the times where we are, inclusion is very important and is very neglected. Just like you had one of those quotes that humanity is one species. It is, but some people do not accept it. Some people think that it is not. And so now things like inclusion have to be, a big topic currently. Thank you very much. That was very, very informative. You had so much. You covered all the ends. I mean, I don't know where to start and where to end. Thank you very much. You can see inclusive even just in our small dream team here. Because of the inclusive that we have, so many of us have found their voices, and we have discovered so many talents that were hidden. If we had not done inclusion and give everybody the opportunity to showcase, we will never know these talents. We will never give people their voices that they never knew that they had. So I thank you very much. So moving forward, I don't know, I think we're going to ask questions during our question and discussion for Queen Kanla.
Correct. I just want to add but some reflection.
Yes,
comment.
I was going to say, yeah, I was going to call you so that. Go ahead.
Wow, geez. As Queen Kanla said, the topic was in diversity, inclusion, and equity. And we've done the part 2 equity, and I cannot wait for the part 3 that's coming up in the 3rd of March, which is equity. Queen Kanla, you said something, and I always say that it's good to know your audience. And most organizations, they tend not to understand their audience and the diversity. My children suffer a little bit of that. When I moved here from the United Kingdom, my son's work was always like cross out. It was like you cannot spell. He was putting all the U's, the Americans don't put the U's, like
Yep.
color, flavor, favor, and he
Favor.
was frustrated. And I told him to go and tell them that you're British, and that's how you spell things. And I had to write to the teacher. I said, don't tell the child that he cannot spell. He said that is the British way, and this is the American way. People have to learn where they're coming from. And my daughter's own situation was, Queen Kanla said it. Where we come from to look at an elder like this and speak is arrogant and rude. You bow down for a sign of respect. And they said, oh, she has a problem. So this inclusion, understanding the diversity and including the diversity in any organization is very, very critical for that organization. And we've seen our CEO really tends to do that. He listens, he understands, we know what a lot of founders have done in different regions, and he understands that based on their culture, and that's how they sometimes will communicate. Yes, it's been costing the company a lot of pains moving forward, but he understands. If you're dealing with something big like this from different all part of the globe, a different culture coming in, different religion, but he's trying to form a culture for OnPassive. Queen Kanla, this is a very important topic, and I can't wait for the 3rd part, equity. Yeah, we've had to come through that. We don't speak from our culture. You don't go and praise yourself. So it's difficult when they come at the end of the year and say, patient, tell me what you did. I'm like, you can see what I do. Because in our culture, we believe that a lizard doesn't praise himself, right? Somebody has to praise them. And we're struggling with this culture that you have to go and knock your chest. I did this, I did that, I did that. It's the American culture. We came from a culture of we. And so we are trying to feed in. But I'm glad that companies are really trying to make an effort. They're not there yet to be inclusive of the diversity that we as people are. God created it that way to make it interesting. We all have a talent, we all have an ability, and we all have a reason to contribute to that one global family.
Amen.
Thank you.
Amen.
I see King Shagan, brother Pastor Shagan's had been off, one of the leaders. Thanks a lot, Queen Kanla, for that topic. And let me not forget, I know this is not the time. Sister Lerato, wow. Anyway, let me not talk. Great presentation, great two ladies on passive dream team. I really am glad to know you. In December, and sorry, I'm making in March. We're going to showcase all the leaders in OnPassive, the women leaders. They will be presenting. All of March will be the dream team leaders, all the ladies, because we have a lot of talented ladies, and they will be the one presenting all of March. Thank you, Sister Queen Lerato, for a wonderful mindset. Love for the month, Love Month. We talk about love. Thank you.
Amen. Thank you.
Okay, I don't know. Did Brother Shaggy have something to say?
Yes, Sister Kanla, thank you so much for this presentation. You touched on every point.
He did.
I threw a question in the text because I wanted to share a quick experience, not to divert too much. In the company where I work from, they are big on diversity, but there's still a bunch of people who feel they're not hard, they're not participating, they're not active. So I wanted to see maybe in your next topic or anybody speaking to address areas where on passive provide tools. Let me give an example of where I work from. They open a platform where if an idea occurs to you based on what you're doing at whatever level that can improve the situation, just go there and type it in. Guess what happened? Someone that nobody will, even in general meetings where we have town hall, nobody will see them, put an idea there, and it got to the CEO and they brought it right up. And so it's like every month now, somebody who is not who does not feel part of it now is part of the discussion, part of the participation. They're part of the voices because they have a platform where they just type in that information and it goes straight to the CEO. Of course, the secretary filters through it and pick something to pass to him. So that's my thinking. I know we have ONET, but if there are people listening today who feel all they are saying all this, I don't feel hard. I don't think, inclusive. Do we have such platform? And I know we do, but I want to leave it to the speaker. Where people can go, text things. I'm not talking of negative stuff. Oh, we'll be doing this. No, no, no. Just ideas that it's burning in your heart as you're part of this organization. That's what my question is for. Again, thank you so much for all the areas that you touched. They're very, very, very essential, and it's good for us to remind ourselves of all these things. Thank you. Thank you for giving me the opportunity to say and answer that question. Thank you. Bye.
Yeah. But Ashagi, I saw that you were bubbling with it, so we had to ask you to say it before you burst. Thank you. All right. Moving forward. So I know a lot of people are bubbling too with a lot of comments, things to say to Queen Kanla and questions. So that will come up during our question and discussion. At this time, we are moving to my favorite topic on the agenda, updates. And Dream Team, we have our updates is special. No one can do it like we do. And so I'm going to call on Dr. D and his team to give us the updates for today. Dr. Derek, born ready. You ready? All right.
Okay. All right. I am unmuted. Finally. Okay, wonderful. Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Queen Lerato Shadare. Really, really appreciate. Oh my goodness. Okay, okay, really appreciate. Thank you very much. Oh mercy, no, not that one. Wrong direction, wrong direction. All right. So, all right. Thank you very much, Queen Kanla.
Dr. Derek, show your face.
Yes, I'm trying to unmute now. I mean, not unmute. I'm trying to.
I want to see you standing.
Do the video thing, right? Hopefully, come up. Mercy. All right, but anyway, thank you. Oh, mercy. It didn't come up. Give me a minute here. I think I need to touch the setting. But anyway, Queen Kanla, that was amazing. You nailed it. Thank you very much. Oh my goodness. Listen, we need to put together a business conference. Those big business conference where we have 2,000-3,000 people attending from different and varied companies. So we really, at some point, we need to put on a physical business conference where we can actually have these presentations like Queen Kanla presentation in the ears of these big business people. Seriously, because this is a big business conference presentation, and it was awesome, Queen Kanla. I really appreciate from the first word drop out of your mouth until the last word dwindle off your lips. I really appreciate it very much. And thank you very much. Really appreciate it. Okay, wonderful. My video is up now. All right. Thank you very much, Queen Kanla. Awesome.
Thank you. Thank you.
Amen. Right. So, Dr. Patience, we need to really put together a big business conference. Maybe, middle to the end of this year, right? And really invite some of these business people. What state you live in again, Queen Kanla?
Oh, Queen sorry. What is your question?
Yeah, what state are you?
Delaware.
Oh, am I right near the capital?
The first state.
The first state.
Wonderful, right next door to the capital.
Yes.
So that is where we need to start, right? Because you know, that is where a lot of the big business people and business-minded people are in the US. That is in the US. All right. And so really and truly, seriously, we're not joking around. We need to really have a conference. We host the conference. We host a conference as founders and really have this presentation hitting in the ears of these business people. All right. Awesome. Thank you very much. And so you see, we didn't know well, and let me not say we. I didn't know that Queen Kanla had this inside of her to let loose on us like this.
Effects of inclusion.
Let loose upon us. All right. And I really appreciate it. Awesome presentation, Queen Kanla, and of course, Queen Lerato. Because you see, our deepest fear is not that we are inadequate. Our deepest fear is that we are powerful beyond measure. And Queen Kanla really displayed some power today, really some big power. Because it is our light, not our darkness, that most frighten us. And I tell you, I was frightened today. I thank you, Queen Kanla. I was frightened today. Really appreciate it, though. Thank you very, very much. It's a very short. I don't even know if Queen Kanla want to jump on about 4 or 5 slides. But it's just he didn't come on last week, really and truly, and because he's really working assiduously to get this thing with the payment processor up and running. All right, and so Queen Kanla.
Yes, Dr. Dean.
You want to jump on?
No, you can go ahead. It's all
okay.
Right.
Miriam can jump up.
You're drinking some water.
Queen Miriam can jump in if she's here.
Oh, hallelujah. Praise the Lord. Thank you, Jesus. Go ahead, Queen Miriam.
Yes, I can't go.
I'm trying to unmute you.
Queen Miriam.
I'm right here. I'm right here.
Oh, okay. All right. Say a few words. Say a few words.
Greetings to all. Enough love, one love. See, I heard so many comments from the. Oh, I heard so many comments from the speech of
I
Queen
don't know
Kanla,
this participant.
and and all I can say, I have to go watch it because based on the resounding applause, based on everything that was said, it seemed as if she nailed it, as Queen Debbie would say. So I will have to go back and watch both the Queen Kanla and Queen Lerato Shadare. Now we are here for updates, and I will hand it over to Dr. Derek.
All right, wonderful. Thank you very much, Queen Miriam Edwards, EA. And so let me fire this up. All right. Okay, and so as we said, we're just really going to, reinforce a few things that was said, just about 4 or 5 slides. So don't be worried. It's not a lot today. All right. And so we are looking at updates. All right. So take it away, Queen Miriam.
Ashmofare, MIT, February 7th. Commissions. Payout is in the process, and there are some steps we didn't wish to do, but people will have to go through verification process using their email. It's the merchant requirement, and we will have to do this again with O-Verify in the coming weeks.
Wonderful. And just to let a lot of persons are calling me and asking me, who is the what we to look for in the email? Who is it the processor? It's the same processor that you paid your $93. Not the other two that we paid $143 and they stole the money and run away. But Ashmafari still gave us the O-Connect to our pleasure, but did not get paid from the payment processor. But it's not those two first one. It's the last one, which, if you remember, if it is F as in Frank, N as in November, C as in Charlie, I as in India, A as in Alpha from Mexico. It's the same payment processor that we are using when we started to pay the $93. So it might say something in terms of that payment processor. And if you see it in your email or you see it in your O-mail, it's a link that you have to do a verification. And this verification is not the O-mail, the O-verify verification. It's the verification based on that payment. Remember, we said that all banks, all financial institution has to do a KYC. Remember, we said that from the whole aspect of KYC came into the picture. Yes, and so it is no different. The payment processor has to do a KYC. This is not the KYC from OnPassive or Verify. It's a structure we have in place now. So unfortunately, this is the structure we have in place right now. We don't have another structure yet. So yes, you have to do a KYC for that payment that you requested from your O wallet. You will need to watch your email and O mail every day to ensure you stay with the process to not miss any steps. The reason we are not opening more products and letting you pay again for O Connect, because if you notice, it was just supposed to be for 90 days. And oh my goodness, we're gone about 10 months now. So we are not letting you pay anything until we resolve everything in the payment processor.
And it's been 10 months. Oh, you said that already. It's been almost 10 months. Giveaway and early birds have received a credit back, and we're leaving out 100 of millions by not taking more money until we clear the balance. And please, we wanted to give the longest opportunity for people to make a payment. So the next time we sell it, it will be a different price and a new release.
All right, from Mohammed Morad, he's talking about O Connect. I just give you a fast update on O Connect. Is focus on stability and scalability. So that is what they are focusing on right now with O Connect, with a new version. So a new version of O Connect will soon hit the market, will soon come out for us to take a look at. And you will notice a lot of new designs and dashboard. It is on track and will be available very soon. O-Verify, the application is coming out soon. Remember, it is not the same as your KYC with the payment processor.
Mohammed Kamal, he said, you will see very big prestigious events in March. And we will not announce now, but you will see them in the first week of March in Dubai.
Wonderful. So look out for that. I think that will be maybe the next 2 weeks. And so a lot of things will be happening in March. So therefore, buckle up.
Buckle up.
Because
this is how we do it.
This is how we do it. This is how we do it.
Do it.
This is how we do it. And so the way we do it is really because we are
Unpassivenaires.
Unpassivenaires. So that was our short update. And we hope that it reminds you of a few things in Unpassive. Thank you very much.
Yeah, short and sweet and loaded too. All right. Thank you very much, Dr. D and your team for the updates. So I know many are burning with questions, with comments for Queen Kanla. And so we are going to hand over to the question and discussion team. I don't know if you want us to say goodbye to the people on YouTube. Or we're just going to discuss inclusion. Dr. P, sorry. Are we gonna say goodbye to the people?
Let's
please do.
Let's do. I don't want it to be too long on YouTube. Thank you. Oh wow, what a wonderful presentation. And thank you, update team, for that reinforcement reminder, because a lot of people are really not following the process, trusting the process. But before we go to Q&D, can the Q&D team, Sister Bridget, Sister Aisha, just say something quickly, and we shut this part, and then we can do the Q&D. Sister Bridget, Sister Aisha, Sister Yvonne, come on. You guys say something quickly.
Okay, greetings everyone. Again, it's Yvonne Fain, and the information that's coming out of here is absolutely just blowing my head. It's blowing my mind, both with Sister Lerato and then with Sister Queen Kanla there. It's just right on point and just keeps expanding us. So we are expanded and included. Thank you very much, both of you.
Thank you, Sister Aisha. I know you've been, I see your avatar. I think we lost Queen Bridget. Can you unmute? I know you've been having problem with data for a while now. Sister Aisha? Okay, if Sister Kanla, if you can just give us your closing remark before we do Q&D on the topic, quick and sweet and short.
Okay. Thank you, Queen Sister Dr. P. I want to say diversity inclusion is very important in our daily lives. Whether it is applicable immediately or it will be sometime in the future. But right now, it is better to be aware of the concepts, know what it is, so that when you see it, you know what you are saying. When you face it, you know what you are facing. And when you need to act based on what is in front of you, you know that you will be making the right decision. Now, what do I mean by what I am trying to summarize diversity inclusion? Because without this knowledge, our human instinct is going to be you act based on what has just happened. But when you are aware, then you can be able to rationalize not only your thought process, but you can be able to also say, okay, I can see that this action towards me not being represented, not being able to express myself, not being able to be given the opportunity to participate, it's not their fault because they do not know. Then you are able to say, okay, how do I bring it to their attention so I can be able to express myself and do that? Because then it is up to you to do it, but we need to be able to be aware. And so it's going to take a while. We don't need to understand everything, but whichever one that is applicable right now, wherever you are and moving forward, begin with that. It is going to be just okay. And then as we expand on our knowledge, we are going to grow, and it's going to be a very useful wealth of information, knowledge, skills that we will all gather. And at the tip of your hand or at your head, when you begin to encounter those different diversities, people coming from different areas, and you see them, how they are acting, why they act the way they act, why they speak the way they speak, why they behave the way they behave. You understand and you become a people person. And you're able to be able to be the better one to expose and lead them. And then we all can be able to be in an environment that is safe, that is free, that is comfortable, and that we can all be able to feel loved. So thank you to all the viewers online. If you are not able to send in your text because you're listening to us through YouTube, we understand. But feel free when you have the opportunity, we will be ready at any time. Send your questions and we can be able to answer them. Please, you can send your questions in the chat. If you are in any of the chat rooms, we will be able to respond to them. So do not hesitate. Please, if you are not able right now, we are ready and we will be able to answer those questions. Thank you to all on Perseverance right here that you've listened to me. I appreciate your time and I hope to talk again with you on our next topic. I am excited and looking forward. Thank you.
Thank you, Sister Kanla. That is a very, very important topic in times like this that we live in. So we really appreciate you and we look forward to part 3. I really look forward to, and I know there are a lot of people here who look forward to. And so I want to appreciate all who are here this afternoon, especially those joining us from YouTube. So at this time, we will say goodbye. I hope you enjoyed that topic like we did. I'm sure we all did, because inclusion is needed everywhere, at home, in schools, in our kids' schools, at work, everywhere, even in little cultural groups and community groups that you are in. Inclusion is important, and without it, talents are hidden, people's voices, ideas are hidden, and we don't get those. We don't grow if we don't include everyone. So we want to say goodbye for those of you who are viewing from YouTube. If you were on YouTube earlier and you are a founder and you can join or connect, please do, because this discussion is going to continue further. For those who have questions, for those who have comments, so you can get off YouTube and join us on O Connect. So thank you very much. Don't forget that we have many other webinars within the week, Monday through Sunday, that you can join to learn more. And we look forward to seeing you again next Sunday, same time. So bye for those joining us from YouTube.
Bye, everyone. As Sister Irene said, Monday we have Queen Miriam, Mindset Monday at 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, and 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time into the Mic Live. Tuesday and Thursday, 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, Deep Dive Globally Changed Life. Wednesday, 7:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, Julie Pierre Empower Humanity. And during the week, Monday through Friday, I think, 1 p.m., One Global Movement. Join the Sisters platform and learn more. Thank you all for coming. And we will continue with Q&A.